I'm Mark Brousseau, president of Brousseau and Associates. I'm pleased to be your co-presenter for today's webinar. Take control of your cash flow, proven strategies for accounts receivable leaders. Today's webinar is sponsored by Billtrust. I'm thrilled to have you with us today. As AR leaders, well, you know that controlling cash flow isn't just about processing payments. It's about creating an efficient and proactive AR operation that prevents bottlenecks before they happen. But let's be honest, outdated manual processes and legacy AR solutions are probably slowing your operations and your cash flow down. They create unnecessary friction, they increase errors, and they limit visibility into your cash position. The good news, there's proven strategies and modern tools that can help. Today's webinar is all about actionable steps that you can take to transform your AR processes and take back control of your cash flow. I have just a few housekeeping notes to go over before we officially get started. To ensure call quality, everyone's voice lines have been muted today. We encourage you to ask questions throughout today's webinar. To do so, simply use the Q&A tool on the lower right-hand side of your screen to submit your questions to me. We'll answer your questions at the conclusion of today's webinar. And finally, an on-demand recording of today's webinar will be made available to all of you within the next few business days. We encourage you to share it with your coworkers. I'm pleased to be joined today by Bonnie Halvorson, Financial Services Manager at Van Meter. Bonnie has firsthand experience in overcoming AR challenges, moving from manual, outdated systems to a streamlined, modern process. Her real-world insights will give you practical tips on how you can apply them immediately to your operations. Hey, Bonnie, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hi, Mark. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Bonnie's going to share her firsthand story with you a little bit later in today's webinar. So we all know that managing cash flow is complicated. The question is, why is that? Well, a big part of the challenge stems from a reliance on manual processes and outdated AR technology. Manual tasks slow down credit approvals. They slow down invoicing, payment processing, and collections. And legacy systems, they don't often integrate with other financial platforms, and that leads to fragmented data and limited visibility. Without accurate real-time information, we're flying blind. AR teams spend more time reacting to issues than preventing them. Today's webinar is going to explore how to break out of this cycle with some practical solutions. Here's what we're going to cover today. We'll start by diving into the common challenges of conventional AR management and how outdated processes and systems are actually contributing to these issues. Then we'll examine 5 key areas to improve cash flow: credit and risk management, invoice presentment, payment processing, cash applications, and collections. We'll also have a chat with Bonnie to hear her firsthand experience of how her organization was able to automate their AR processes. And finally, we'll finish by exploring what to look for in a modern AR solution and highlight how an automated solution can optimize every single step of the AR process. One of the key things we look for when it comes to improving our cash flow is, how is it that we measure success? Typically, the biggest measurement is the average collection period. That measures how long it takes to turn sales into cash. Long collection periods, well, they're often a direct result of those manual processes and outdated systems that I was talking about. They delay invoicing, they delay payment processing, and they delay collections. And each one of these delays tie up working capital. They hinder cash flow predictability, and they restrict your organization's ability to invest or to respond to market changes. So while we might not be able to prevent customers from slowing down their payments, we certainly don't want to exacerbate the situation with inefficient AR processes that really hinder our cash flow. When we modernize our approach to AR, now we can shorten the collection cycle, we can improve liquidity, and we can enhance our organization's financial agility. And those are all good attributes, regardless of the economic situation. So today's webinar, we're going to look at the most common accounts receivable challenges and how it is that manual and outdated systems make them worse. And if you think about it, every step of the way in a manual or semi-automated process can really hinder our organization, from credit and risk management and invoice presentment to payment processing, cash application, and collections. What we're going to do today is explore solutions to each of these challenges with a focus on replacing outdated methods with efficient technology driven approaches. And we're going to start at the very beginning of the AR cycle at credit and risk management. Fact is inconsistent credit evaluations and slow credit approvals are common in organizations using manual processes or maybe even outdated software. Are you relying on PDFs? Are you relying on spreadsheets? Well, this is endemic of this type of operation. Without real-time data, your AR team is going to rely on static reports, and that really makes it hard to assess risk accurately. And it also makes it hard to know exactly what's going on in your customer base when the economy starts to change. In uncertain times like these, businesses are already thinking their approach to credit and risk management. So, what's the solution here? Well, one thing you want to do is look at using an automated credit assessment tool. Modern AR solutions offer real-time credit evaluations. They use up-to-date data to make quick and informed decisions about a customer's credit worthiness. What's more, these solutions can do continuous risk monitoring. They can analyze your customers' payment trends to predict future risk and allow you to make proactive adjustments. So, in times like these, when things might be a little bit turbulent in certain industries, an automated credit risk management solution can help you not only keep up, but stay ahead. What's more, automation also provides automated alerts for those changes it uncovers in a customer's credit profiles. That can help you mitigate potential risks before they occur. We know that in many cases, extending credit to customers is necessary for doing business. What's not necessary is the need to have significant risk exposure associated with it. The next part of the AR process that hinders cash flow is invoice presentment. I know what you're thinking. Come on, Mark. We've started to send invoices via email to our customers. Surely that's better than using snail mail. Well, the fact is that slow invoice delivery and inconsistent delivery and billing errors often stem from outdated invoicing methods like paper email and disconnected systems. Like trying to use your personal email account to send invoices to folks. And all of this can lead to disputes and to delays in payment. We often forget that one of the biggest levers we have in accelerating our company's days sales outstanding, DSO, is the way we get invoices to customers. When we get invoices to customers accurately and fast, they're more likely to pay us accurately and fast without dispute. So how do we do this? How do we make an invoice presentment process even better, even though we might already be using things like email to send it? Well, the first thing you want to do is to consider electronic invoicing. Deliver invoices instantly through multiple channels, including, email, but also customer portals. What you want to do is you want to deliver those invoices in a method that your customer prefers, so they're more likely to be able to process them efficiently and pay you fast. You also want to make sure that your invoice presentment tool has the ability to automatically ensure the accuracy of invoices and to meet customer specific requirements. So, in other words, does the invoice have all of the information a customer requires in order to pay you? And is that information right? Now, these seem like common or obvious pieces of information, but the fact is in many cases, we're making it harder on our customers to pay us by not providing them with all the information they need. What's more, you also want to find ways to tailor your invoice formats to match customer preferences. That is going to improve approval speed, and it's going to reduce the possibility of disputes. To do this, the best approach is an automated solution, not a piecemeal approach using your personal email. You want to find a way to take your invoice presentment and elevate it to your customers. Think about our personal lives. Think about the way we are as consumers. We're very demanding of the companies we do business with. Shouldn't the same thing apply in a B2B environment? The next way that many organizations are hindering their cash flow is the way that they go about processing customer payments. Outdated payment systems force customers into limited payment options, and that causes frustration and delays. Think for a moment about how easy it is to pay your company. How many options do you offer customers in order to pay you? How easy do you make it for them to find the information related to that bill? How easy is it for them to be able to access historical payment information? How easy is it for them to be able to inquire about a question? Without real-time payment processing, it takes longer for payments to clear. It takes longer for customers to pay you. It doesn't have to be this way, particularly in today's environment where we have an ever-growing mix of payment options available to us. What you want to do is you want to find a solution that enables the broad range of payment methods that a customer might want to use, whether that's ACH, credit card, or even digital wallet options. You also want to make sure that there's an integrated way to accept these payments. What you don't want is a hodgepodge of point solutions that requires customers to go to, say, a different website in order to make a payment. You want to look for an integrated payment portal. You want to streamline payments and provide immediate confirmation that they've been received. You want to give customers peace of mind. What's more, you want to make sure that you are using a solution that automatically validates and processes payments instantly so that you can reduce the payment cycle. And don't give short shrift to those payment portals. You want to make sure that customers have all of the information at their fingertips in order to pay you so that they don't have to pick up a phone call or make an email to you, or even worse, just not pay the bill because they aren't sure it's what they owe. Now, of course, we all know that accepting a payment is only part of the game when it comes to clearing a customer's account. We've also got to find a way to perform the cash application. And many organizations still rely on manual or semi automated approaches to cash application. And let's face it, manual cash application is tedious, it's time consuming. It's probably one of the most onerous tasks in a finance and administration function. And what many cases occurs is exceptions. Today, 80% of all remittance data that comes into an AR department is manually rekeyed. And in many cases, that remittance data is arriving electronically. And whenever we have manual keying, we all know that inevitably we're going to have errors. A single typo, a single transposed number can create huge headaches downstream, and that can tie up our cash and it can frustrate our customers and even cost us business. Those exception rates from incomplete or incorrect data that we've keyed, well, that creates big issues. What's more, we make everything even more complicated because in many cases we have disconnected systems. That data we're rekeying doesn't always flow seamlessly into our ERP, so we can't match it against open invoices. This sounds like a headache to you. Well, you're not alone. The fact is what you want to do is you want to find some automated solutions to be able to streamline, to digitize the cash application process. And yes, it is possible. What you want to do is use a solution that has artificial intelligence powered matching. Automatically be able to use these advanced algorithms to match payments to those open invoices in your ERP. In many cases, AI powered matching solutions can automatically match many of the payments that you receive with those open invoices. And in those cases where you do have exceptions, well, now AI can help you identify and resolve those discrepancies faster. In many cases, AI powered solutions could suggest a resolution. So there's cases where customers are grouping invoices with one payment or short paying or paying you in advance for anticipated invoices. Many cases, AI can help you sort those things out and reduce manual effort and get that money and those customer accounts cleared fast. What's more, you want to look for a cash application solution that has seamless integration with your ERP. That allows you to improve visibility through this connected AR ecosystem. That ensures faster cash application, but it also helps you get better visibility into what's going on with your cash as you are processing your payments. In many cases, you want to find ways to analyze and address exceptions. I already told you that organizations are struggling with lots of exceptions and disputes. In fact, today, about 20% of all payments are written off because of disputes that are unresolved. Some organizations have thresholds where if a dispute is below a certain dollar figure, they just write it off without ever looking at it, assuming that the trouble of trying to resolve it will cost more than the write off itself. We can't afford this type of profit leakage. So, what you want to do is you want to analyze and address those exceptions. You want to use AI powered tools to regularly review those unmatched payments to identify the trends. Are there certain customers that are taking certain behaviors, and maybe we can anticipate those in the solution? What's more, we want to use these insights to also refine our matching rules so that we're able to improve our processes over time. This is where that so called machine learning technology comes into play. You also want to find ways to use automated cash application to emphasize cross department collaboration. Hold on here. I'm not being an analyst jargon here. What I'm saying is we can use the technology to help align AR with sales and customer service teams so that we can identify those common problems, take action as a team, and ensure consistent communications with customers about the roots of the problem. When we can collaborate with other stakeholders using technology, that allows us to resolve those disputes faster and to prevent potential mismatches down the road. What's more, AI driven tools can help us resolve these exceptions without us having to lift a finger in many cases. The intelligence can suggest resolutions and streamline the reconciliation process for us so that we can free up our staff for more important tasks. The final step that is hindering cash flow in many AR processes is collections. And I could just imagine many of you are nodding your head. Today, manual collections processes are slow, they're inconsistent, and they're often reactive. Just think about how a typical collections professional starts their day, right? They probably have a spreadsheet or they log into their ERP, look for past due accounts, start making post it notes, jotting down phone numbers and emails, creating to do lists. All of this wastes lots of time chasing those overdue accounts. And in many cases, we really don't have clear prioritization. We're trusting our seasoned staff to kind of know which customers they should prioritize. And this reactive nature, well, it often leaves us in a bad position. A better approach is to automate the collections process, to use technology to identify accounts that are at risk of late payment, does this through AI evaluation of customer payment trends. It pours through historical payment data to be able to start to understand when it is your customers pay, and then to be able to send up a flag when they've taken a behavior that could indicate they're going to slow pay you. This allows you to intervene early, to not be reactive, but to be proactive. Automated tools also can set up workflows that trigger reminders to your customers. Hey, you didn't forget to pay me, did you? And it can follow up with them automatically. Also, let you know when a customer hasn't followed up. What's more, an automated collections tool provides your customers with a portal that gives them those convenient payment options I spoke about earlier. It also gives them the ability to automatically view and to pay those outstanding invoices. So there's no guesswork here. They can see exactly where they stand with you, whether it's credit and risk management, invoice presentment, payment processing, cash application, or collections. Each step of an inefficient AR lifecycle can create gaps and inefficiencies and friction that can hold back your cash flow. The solution isn't to fix part of the problem. The solution is to fix the entire problem. And to do that, well, you need to take a holistic approach to AR optimization. What you want to do is you want to break down these silos. You want to use integrated solutions to unify your order to cash process. So now you get visibility and control and frictionless processes all across the AR lifecycle. You also want to make sure that your approach to AR optimization focuses on the customer. In many cases, it's that customers don't know what to do or how to do it to pay us. Many cases, we're difficult to pay. So you want to personalize billing and payment methods to improve customer satisfaction. Remember, once a sale is closed, AR is the front door to your business with customers. You're the ones facing customers. And so we need to make sure that we are putting the company's best foot forward. And finally, make no mistake about it, you must invest in technology. If you want an optimized AR function, you've got to find ways to automate and streamline your processes. You have to deploy a modern platform to automate routine tasks, to free your team to focus on strategic activities that drive your cash flow. And that's exactly what modern solutions do at each phase of the AR lifecycle. Automated credit and risk management solutions provide you with real-time risk analysis, with automated decision making, and continuous risk monitoring. Automated invoice presentment allows you to digitally present invoices in an error-free way that serves up invoices in the method that your customers are most comfortable with. Automated payment processing streamlines electronic payments with integration with your financial systems. It provides customers with the ability to instantly see their open invoices and to set up payments with you. Cash application gets you out of the monotony of manually keying remittance data, matching payments to remittance details, and matching payments to open invoices. What's more, today's cash application solutions help streamline your dispute processes. And automated collection solutions provide you with proactive insights to optimize your collections workflows. Few folks in a manual environment can say that they are optimized. But don't take my word for any of this. I'm pleased today to be joined by Bonnie Halvorson of Van Meter, who's going to share her organization's automation journey. And she's going to share with us how it is her company was able to accelerate their cash flow using AR automation. Hey, Bonnie, how are you today?
Great. How are you, Mark?
Excellent. Excellent. So, Bonnie, tell us a little bit about Van Meter.
Yeah, I would love to. So Van Meter is an electrical distributor. Our footprint is mainly in the Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Kansas City, and Omaha market. Um, we're employee owned and we have about 850 employees.
So tell me a little bit about the unique cash flow challenges in your industry.
I almost feel like they're not necessarily unique. I'm hoping people will be able to relate, but there's a variety of scenarios that we deal with. We have a couple different customer bases or segments. So we have the contractor side and the industrial side, and we typically see unique challenges, different challenges for each segment. And so, on the contractor side, some of the things that we see are we have contractors that maybe they're phenomenal at what they do, but they don't bill their customers in a timely fashion. They operate on the paid when paid mentality, or they're still building their business up and they aren't backed by reserves or lines of credit, and so they're kind of living project to project. And then on the industrial side, one of the things that we're seeing a lot today is a lot of customers just they're telling you they're pushing those terms out and they're telling you they're not asking. And so um, that has been a unique challenge that we've had to work through. And I would say the other big thing is portals, the presence of portals that our customers are using, to be more efficient on their side. Great, good for them, but makes it a little bit more challenging for us on our side sometimes, because it seems like these portals are all a little bit different.
All right. So, with all of that said, Bonnie, tell us about your AR process before you automated. How were you doing things in the past, and what challenges did that create?
Yeah, I'm gonna do my best to speak to this because, I've been with Van Meter for um, almost 10 years now, and my predecessor, she really got the ball rolling. And so, but what I can really speak to is when I came on board here, we were already doing the automated billing piece of it. And that was a really big deal because it was very manual, still using fax and
Oh,
you know, uh, snail mail and that type of thing. But the thing that I was most present for and really got to see a change in was the cash application. And 10 years ago, we had a team of two uh, working on posting all those payments manually, checks coming in the mailbox, almost as manual as it could be. And what I did experience is that we we had quite a bit of delay. We often ran 2+ weeks behind.
wow.
Um, the other really big thing was the burnout. Just recognizing how defeating it was for the individuals that were trying so hard to keep up, and it didn't seem like they ever really got to a place that felt really I don't know, excited. They weren't excited about their progress
Could they
process.
take a vacation, Bonnie? If you only had two people and you're already 2 weeks behind, nobody can ever go on break or get married or pregnant, could they?
No, right? Like who's going to do it? And that was another thing I observed is there was a lot of other people that had to know how to do cash
Oh my.
posting in case something happened.
Well, the topic of today's webinar is cash flow. I have to imagine if you're running 2 weeks behind on cash application, that is going to be a concern for the boss, no?
Absolutely, and I think really, um, that was probably one of the biggest selling factors for my predecessor, right? Is like, if we take a chance, look what we could do.
Yeah, so tell me about that process. How did you go about finding an automated cash application solution? What were the important criteria and what did you observe in the market?
Well, I think one of the biggest pieces is that, us already being on the invoicing piece of it and seeing the efficiencies and seeing how well something like that could work really gave everybody a little bit more hope that, if we try something else and try to be competitive in the market and bring on some new technology, that it would have a positive impact across many different things. And so, I know at the time we did go out and explore what the other options were out there. And I mean, 10 years ago, I don't know that there were that many. So I will say that when we sat down with Billtrust and did their demo and looked through it, again, knowing we already had one of their platforms in place and implemented, um, they really went above and beyond, and one of the biggest things I remember, um, about that time and place is the fact that they provided an ROI was key to th I think us getting the thumbs up on moving forward with a new piece of technology.
Yeah, talk to me about that. Many AR leaders tell me they run into a roadblock when they try to present automation to senior management. How did you sell this idea of automated cash application to your CFO or finance leaders?
Well, I think the biggest piece that I really focused on was, um not even necessarily the work at the forefront, but was the customer experience, which is so it was so key, right? We want customers to get their invoices and their statements in a timely manner. We want them to be accurate. We want our posting to, all the things that we're doing manually, potentially could create a poor experience for that customer. And when you're a smaller business that's trying to grow, you can't afford any of those mishaps, right? And so I think that was one of the key factors. The other really big one is Van Meter really prides themselves on their culture,
Mhm.
and a piece of that culture is their people and making sure that their people are taken care of and they have all the tools they need to do their job every day. When you start seeing people that aren't able to enjoy time off or are working so hard where you can literally see it on their face that they maybe need a break or we need to throw more people at it or whatever the solution is. That's another big pause, right? Like we I I truly believe that like when you start to put it in perspective that way of, hey, the customer experience and what this could do for our people who is part of our culture and what we live by, it makes the whole thing come maybe full circle. It makes it a little bit more impactful when you're trying to sell it.
Absolutely, especially for a growing business. Talk to me about the process of implementing this Bill Trust solution. So you made the decision to implement Bill Trust. What was involved with getting it up and running?
I think it was a pretty standard project. I hadn't been through a lot at the time, but I did appreciate, we had quite a few regular calls and milestones, and there was a good understanding of around all the pieces that needed to all the key milestones we needed to hit, all the people that needed to be involved, what kind of resources we would
Mhm.
need. And I will point out quickly that, one of our biggest challenges is we didn't have a huge um, like IT department. And so
Really?
our resources were a little slim there. And I think we were a little concerned that that was going to cause issues. And um, we were pleasantly surprised that Billtrust was able to bridge that gap for us. And they had their experts in all of these areas to kind of carry us along and walk us along throughout the process. And so it was pretty smooth. One little hiccup I do recall, it actually came between, and this is why I'm not in IT. So AR is my jam. But the connection between getting the files or whatever it is from the bank into our ERP. At the time, our bank that we were using just wasn't familiar with how to make that work. And I remember when we wrapped up the project and we were asked for feedback on how it went. And I remember being so impressed with the fact that Billtrust helped again bridge that gap between the bank and Van Meter to make sure that the connection was proper, that everything was going to work. And so even though it was a hiccup in the implementation side of it, um, it ended up with a great outcome because of the support we had.
That's very impressive. Talk to me about training the staff.
Yeah, so um I would love to say that the training has come a very long way in the last 10 years. And so which is very exciting as you're onboarding new people. Because some of these tools or platforms, you use them for so long, it's almost harder to teach them the better you know them.
Uh-huh.
And so but they did have like a module basis, some key tips and tricks and showed us how to use it. A lot of it was more at the time in person.
Hmm.
So walking through it. And one of the things I recall as well that was really important is setting us up with a another user. Because as much as one thing I've really learned through automation and technology throughout the years is you can see a demo and they're wonderful, but sometimes it hits so much differently when you actually get to see a real user. And so being able to be paired up and see how somebody actually was using it day to day, um, that made a huge difference.
Yeah, seeing is believing. What did your staff think of the new solution as they were getting trained? They were going from this manual, laborious, mind-numbing world to automation. Did they recoil? Did they rejoice? What happened?
I think I think change is always hard no matter how exciting it is. So there were some hesitancies, I think, but it did not take long for them to adopt it, knowing that it was only going to make us more efficient and make us better in the end. So they were pretty open to it once I think they got in there and started using it. And one thing I was reflecting on earlier today is how helpful it was once they got in there and used it. We had a direct line of support. So, Billtrust made sure to tell us like project's complete, we'll hand you off. Here's your resources if you have issues, questions, and whatnot. And I remember at one point, there are called coordinators, financial services coordinators on my team that do the cash posting. I remember saying like, I think I'm going to get a bill because we reach out to Billtrust so much, and it was really truly just a joke, but they used all those resources on a regular basis to make sure they were getting everything out of it, and that continued for actually quite a few years after, not just understanding how to use the tool, but how to improve it. So once they got really going and figuring out, okay, this is how it works, then they wanted to know more about like, what can we tweak and what can we change, or how can we make it match better? You had talked a little bit about getting the information that's coming in. Um, all of our customers give us maybe a remittance that looks a little bit different. How do we get that information that they're sending in to pair up a little bit better with the tool to give us a better outcome or a better match rating, or be more accurate? And so they were consistently striving to become even more efficient as they learned and used the tool.
True super users. I love it. All right. So tell us about how things work in your AR department today. And since you brought up invoice presentment, let's start there. But tell me about your invoice presentment process and your cash application process with Billtrust.
Yeah, so I currently today, like I mentioned, I have half my team that does cash posting, and I have the other half of my, or the greater part of my team does, they're my analysts and they do my collecting side of it. For the longest time, honestly, for at least 10 years, like I had mentioned, we have been um, automating the invoices. So invoices, there's a file that goes out every single night. It captures all the um all the invoices that are in a status ready to go out to the customer at the end of the night. They gather together in a file, they send out to them. Nobody has to touch it, nobody has to um check a box or look through anything or seal an envelope or hit send on a fax machine. It all is automated for us. And um and so that invoice presentment piece is very efficient. Um, and one of the pieces, I guess, that I'd like to just kind of go into there is that, we have a file that sends the invoices. We also have what we call an open AR file, and that feeds out to um, the customer's platform. So where the customer can self-serve, they can log in and they can see, if it's after hours and they're trying to reconcile at home or do bills or pull invoices or whatever, they can go out there and pull those invoices, pull those statements. Those files that are automatically coming out of our system are real time, keeping their information uh, up to date and accurate for them. So they're able to go out to this platform and pull invoices and statements, like I mentioned, make payments. And so that's another really big piece, that this is all happening in the background and it allows the customer to keep working.
Tell me about your cash application process.
Our cash application right now, we are running uh to date posting.
So you went from 2 weeks
I
behind
know.
to 2 date. Good for you. And you didn't burn everybody out.
No, no, we didn't. And so we have, our files come in the morning, and um, I have 4 people that are on that cash posting team. 2 of them do the cash posting and reconciling, and the other 2 manage all sorts of other tasks within the department. And so those files come in typically by noon or 1 o'clock. They have everything posted for the day. And then they work through their reconciling and export it right back out to our ERP. And so most of the time, unless it's a very heavy day, most of the time, everything is posted by the end of business. So that in turn, uh, especially at month end, it's very important we get nice clean statements out, or at the end of the business day when that file goes out to the customer portal, that reflects all those payments, takes them off, shows that they're paid. And so the impact hits in all different areas, and especially even on the collector side too. The analysts, they're seeing real time, my customer's payment came in, it got applied. All right, now I know what I need to work on.
Yeah, talk to me more about the benefits. What's been the biggest benefit from in your opinion, since automating your cash application process?
Oh goodness, how much time do you have?
15 minutes.
I'm just kidding. Um, let's see, the biggest benefit. I would say, kind of going back to that people piece,
Hmm.
The biggest benefit would be the fact that my team has tools and resources at their fingertips to do their job in an efficient way that leaves them feeling like they can take time off, they can work on different projects, they can job shadow, they have time to work on other things
Mhm.
um, that they're passionate about, volunteering, whatever it is. And so truly um, allowing them the ability to breathe and get their work done and feel really good about where they end every day, I think that would probably be the biggest benefit in my eyes.
I have to imagine that eliminating that 2 week backlog of cash application has had some impact on your cash flow and your company's ability to invest and grow. Would I be mistaken there?
No, you wouldn't. Yes, absolutely. No, that has been you're right. That probably is another very big benefit to having those tools is the improvement on our cash flow and what that frees up for our company. We are a growing company, and
Mhm.
so every little bit it definitely helps. It definitely contributes.
Is there a feature of the system or a capability of the system that your team particularly likes?
I would say one of the things that they probably enjoy the most is uh this the ability for the customers to serve themselves. I feel like uh as different generations continue to come into the workplace
Mhm.
and take over a lot of like in our world, we have a lot of mom and pop type shops and
Mhm.
customers. And so, but new generations are taking over those and they want quick and easy access to things. They also want quick results. So I just sent you my ACH. I want it posted quick. So I think the ability to serve the customers closer to real time or give them the ability to serve themselves would probably be a feature that we all would agree that we love the most.
What's your biggest lessons learned in this whole process?
Oh, lessons learned. Let's see. Um, I have a hard time not going back to well, the biggest, the what it's done for the people and allowing
Mhm.
them to grow in their positions or grow in their careers. I really think that watching that unfold and happen has been really rewarding. Um, and then the other thing I guess I would say is like really being open to change or being open to um the different pieces of technology that are being introduced because um, I sit in a lot of different um, groups within the credit space, and a lot of times these things that are coming in to our industry, there's a lot of fear sometimes that comes around them, and I don't necessarily think it's anything we need to be scared of. I think we just need to learn more about them, and so instead of just saying like I would never get approval or I wouldn't want to take somebody's job with all these like ideas that are out there. I would say be open to learning more about it because if you the trickle down effect of efficiencies within a business, I think are really important. And it has an impact on a lot of different departments, a lot of people, a lot of growth. And so I would say a big lesson learned is don't be scared of it, learn more about it.
I'm sure you all have lots of questions for Bonnie, and admittedly, I've been peeking into my Q&A box, and I see some of you have already submitted them. Bonnie will be along in just a few minutes to answer your questions. But in case you're wondering how it is that you can achieve the types of results that Bonnie just described, well, You've got to find ways to take control of your cash flow. The message we wanted to give you today is that you want to find ways to address those bottlenecks, that friction, if you will, with actionable strategies. Wherever possible, leverage automation and artificial intelligence for greater efficiency. And as Bonnie so eloquently said, you want to empower your team so they can focus on higher value tasks. There's really 8 steps to achieving that type of cash flow success. It starts with improving remittance data quality. You want to work with your customers to provide standardized remittance advices whenever possible. In If you can't get standardized data, well, you want to use automation to capture and process that data accurately. You want to transition customers to electronic payments wherever possible. Incentivize them if necessary to drive digital adoption. And you can do that with easy to use payment portals and by offering multiple electronic payment methods. You also want to optimize onboarding processes. So you set clear payment expectations right from the very start of a customer relationship. Use automated credit checks to onboard customers quickly and securely. You want to analyze and resolve exceptions strategically. You want to review them regularly to identify the root cause of your problems and then act upon them. You also want to foster cross departmental collaboration. Bonnie mentioned this. Hold regular meetings with AR and sales and customer service to improve communications and reduce disputes. And of course, you want to automate. Invest in technologies like Billtrust to be able to automate invoicing and payments and collections to streamline those workflows and eliminate that friction that comes with manual and semi automated processes. You want to use analytics to identify trends. So, those reporting tools that are built into AR solutions can help you monitor payment patterns and adjust your strategies. And finally, continuously refine your workflows and your feedback loops. You heard Bonnie say it. A lot changes over 10 years. Your business is going to grow, hopefully. So you want to solicit feedback from your team and your customers and use those insights to enhance efficiency and to address any pain points. These 8 strategies will help you achieve the types of results that Bonnie has been able to achieve in her organization. And that brings us to the Q&A portion of this webinar. If you haven't already submitted your question for Bonnie, or if you've thought of another question for Bonnie, go ahead, use the Q&A tool on your screen to submit your question to me now. We'll answer as many questions as time allows. Bonnie, our first question up is from Shannon. She writes, if a client pays via ACH and not through a customer portal, the AI power matching wouldn't be applicable. Is that right? If it's only for payments that are made through the customer portal, right?
Oh, if I'm understanding correctly, no, they don't have to pay through the portal to use the Cash Apping or the Cash App platform. So we get payments that come in via ACH. We get payments that come in via Lockbox, Wire, all sorts of different methods. And all of those flow through our Cash application, the Cash application platform, and go through that automated posting process.
Jessica wants to know, what platform did you implement for customers to view statements, invoices on their own? Is this through Billtrust?
It is through Billtrust. Yep, this is the Client Connect portal. I believe that's the name of it. But yes, it is Billtrust's platform for self-service, and this is where customers are able to go in and pull invoices, statements, make payments, all sorts of different options for them to serve themselves.
A couple of our attendees want to know what ERP you use.
We are using Solar Eclipse today.
Um, what advice would you give to someone listening in on this webinar today who's still unsure about automation?
You know, what I would say is, at the very least, watch a demo. It couldn't hurt to actually see it, you know, working in front of you. So watch a demo, get paired up. Maybe I know Billtrust does a phenomenal job of trying to partner um, uh, current users with potential new users. Like I had mentioned before, that can be really helpful to actually see how somebody's using it today, or ask questions more specific to each other's business. And so I would say, at the very least, just take a look at it.
And that will be our final word. Bonnie, thank you so much for an
Thank
excellent
you.
presentation and for sharing all your insights with us today. And thank all of you for taking time out of your busy days to join us. That's all the time we have for this webinar. Thank you again for joining us. As a reminder, you're going to receive an on-demand recording of this webinar in the next few business days via email. So if you're looking for more information, we encourage you to visit the Billtrust website at billtrust.com. On behalf of Billtrust and Bonnie, this is Mark Brousseau. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope to speak with you all again soon.